We're going to look at the power rule here and using the power rule for products and quotients. So basically, we'll look at the power rule of a product rule. So we'll have the power rule of a product rule. I know it sounds confusing, but it's really not. Okay. What this means is if n is a positive integer, okay. So if n is a positive integer, and a and b are real numbers, then what we're stating essentially is if we have something like a times b to the n, that's the same as saying a to the n times b to the n. Okay. So basically, to raise a product to the power, we're raising each factor to the power. So a couple examples. Let's look at a couple examples here. Well, let's say we have something like 2x to the third. Well, again, this is saying 2 to the third times x to the third. But we know we can solve 2 to the third, meaning that's 8. So we're looking at 8x cubed here. Another example we might have, let's say we have 1/4 m squared p. And this is all to the third power. Well, then we're going to have 1/4 times 1/4. So we have 4 times 4 is 16 times 4 is 64. So we're going to have 1 over 64. Now, m squared times 3 is m to the sixth. P to the first cube is p cubed. Now, that's using it in the product rule. What about the quotient rule? Alright, let's take a look at that. So we have the power rule of the product rule. Now we're going to have the power rule of a quotient rule. So what this is saying again, if n is a positive integer, okay, and a and c are real numbers, and a and c are real numbers, then, oops, I guess I misspelled that. Then a over c to the n, over c to the n is equal to a to the n over c to the n. Now we've talked about this, we discussed this a little bit earlier. So basically we're saying to raise a quotient to a power, but the denominator raised to the power. So although we've done quite a few of these, we're going to look at a couple here, a couple pretty simple ones and see what we've got. So let's say we have x over 3y squared, and this whole thing is squared. Well, we know we can say this is the same as x squared over 3y squared squared. So we would have 3y squared squared. So on the top, we know we have x squared. That's all we have. But this comes out to 3 squared y squared. It's the second power, which means we're looking at 3 squared is 9, and then we have y to the fourth. Okay. Let's look at another instance where we could use this. Let's look at 2 over x cubed. Again, we can rewrite this and say it's 2 cubed over x cubed. And we know that's 8 over x cubed. Sorry. So this is the power rule of a quotient rule. And we looked at the power rule of product rule earlier. So hopefully this helps you with what we're doing in these 2 cases. We'll be back with looking at something raised to the 0 power, and a little bit more on the quotient rule for exponents. In the meantime, have a good day. Bye.